Today's scripture is taken from Matthew 5, verse 43 to 44, and it says, "You have heard that it was said, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemies.' But I say to you, love your enemies, pray for those who hurt you." Christ forgave his enemies. No matter what they did to him, he forgave them. And it's our job as Christians to do the same. We live our lives and people do things to us that are harmful or that may hurt our feelings or might just tear us apart. And it's still our job to do as Christ would do, which is to forgive our enemies. We live our lives in a series of thoughts and actions, and if those actions are not Christ-like, then we won't reap those benefits like abundance and peace and hope that God promises us for obeying his commandments and following his plan or his example. Now, if you decide that, hey, I don't want to go that route, I don't want to forgive my enemies, I don't want to follow God's commandments, then you are going to reap the bitter consequences that come with that. Now, Christ set an example for us, and it's our job to imitate what he did if we want to be more like him. He forgave his enemies, and it's time for us to do the same. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. Sometimes forgiving your enemies, it's a hard task. You might not even be able to look that person in the face, but it's something that we as Christians have to learn to do, is to forgive our enemies. Not saying we have to forget what they've done to us, but by forgiving them, it shows a sense of humility. It shows our closeness to Christ. The more we're able to forgive, the closer it draws us to Christ. And the more we hold on to those bitter feelings, the more it draws us away from Christ. So if you want to be like Christ and you want to imitate and follow his example, then try to forgive your enemies. It doesn't have to be anything big. You can start small. That's all he's asking for. And together, you and I can be successful at forgiving our enemies. So I encourage you today to take some time and forgive your enemies.